pressed a button, and a tiny, focused flame of electric blue light hissed from the top. Matteo jumped, his boots scraping the steel floor with a shrill ring. He stared at the flame, his eyes wide with a mix of terror and avarice.
Where can I get one of those?
Matteo asked, his voice returning to its gravelly bass. We can work on that for you, the officer replied, his voice a flat, synthesized melody. But we need you to do something for us first. Matteo took a long, deep drag of the machine-rolled cigarette. It was smooth, devoid of the harsh bite of the mountain tobacco he was used to.
I will take 13 packs of these cigarettes. And one of those lightning matchbooks.
A slow, predatory grin spreading across his face. The APD officers looked at each other, their dark visors reflecting the sterile light of the room. Through the full cover of his face, one spoke. Well, we just need you to turn back and leave the Cooper Ranch alone. Nothing good will come from the slaughtering of that family. You are playing with threads you do not understand, Mr. Miller. The name hit Matteo like a physical blow. He stared at the glowing tip of his cigarette for a full 30 seconds, the smoke curling around his head like a spectral crown.
Sure, whatever you want my sock-covered friend. Just give me my guns and my knife back. Let me rejoin my 12 brothers, and we will ride back the way we came.
His voice dripping with a deceptive casualness. The officers reached beneath the steel desk and produced a sheet of paper that looked like it was made of pressed silk. They handed him a heavy, gold-bodied pen that felt balanced and expensive in his calloused hand. Just sign the APD agreement, the officer said, and we will have a deal, bided with the Galactic seal of righteous authority, Mr. Matteo Miller. Matteo scribbled his name across the bottom of the document. He looked at the gold pen, the light glinting off its polished surface.
Can I keep the pen too?
The two officers nodded in unison. Yes, Mr. Miller, you may. Matteo's expression curdled into a dirty look, his lip curling back from his teeth.
It's Mr. Matteo to you. I hate that fucking name, Miller. It's that name of the son of a bitch that left me and my brothers in the scrub. Don't use it again!
A sudden, blinding flash of white light scorched Matteo's vision. When the spots cleared, he was lying on the hard, cold ground of the ridge, about 100 feet from where the rest of the bastards stood. The air felt heavy, and the silence of the desert seemed to ring in his ears. Where did the stagecoach go? Miguel yelled, running toward him, his boots clattering against the rock. It was right there for 2 hours. I blinked and it was gone. There it is, over there, Joaquin shouted, pointing toward the horizon. The group watched as the shimmering craft zoomed straight up into the blackness of the space between the stars, moving faster than a lightning streak across a summer sky until it was nothing more than a fading spark. Matteo sat up slowly, his head spinning. Next to him, stacked in a neat, impossible pile on the dirt, were 13 square packs of the futuristic cigarettes. He reached out and pocketed the gold pen, then stood, brushing the dust from his overcoat.
Are you okay?
Miguel asked, reaching him first and grabbing his shoulder.
Yes.
Matteo said, a dark glint in his eyes.
I'm better than before they picked me up.
He handed a pack of the smokes to each of the men. They crowded around, studying the glossy, colorful packages with amazed looks. Antonio pulled his knife and moved to slice the pack open. No, Matteo commanded. You do it like this. I saw how they did it. He took a pack, demonstrating how to pull the clear, crinkling paper with the small red tab. As the men fumbled with the alien packaging, Matteo pulled out the electric lighter, the lightning matchbook, and clicked it open. The blue flame hissed into the night, casting an eerie glow over their stunned faces. What is this orange thing on the end? Pedro asked, holding a cigarette as if it were a fragile insect. It's so you don't put the lit side in your mouth, I guess, Matteo replied, lighting his own. See, it turns brown after you smoke it. It keeps the grit out of your lungs. The 13 bastards sat in a tight circle around their campfire, the blue sparks of their futuristic cigarettes dancing in the dark. The fire was dying, the bed of coals glowing with a deep, pulsating red. Matteo explained the interrogation, the ship, and the deal he had made.
You were gone for 2 hours.
Miguel said, his brow furrowed. We thought you were dead. We thought they'd taken you to the moon. Matteo shook his head, looking confused. I was only gone 20 minutes, maybe 30. Look at the wood, brother, Manuel said, pointing to the hearth. That fire was started with 3 hours worth of mountain oak. We only have about an hour left of burn to it. You were gone for 2 hours of our time. Matteo stared into the coals, his mind trying to reconcile the missing time. The technology of the sock-covered men was beyond his understanding, but the weight of the gold pen in his pocket was real enough. They want us to leave the Coopers alone, Matteo said, his voice dropping into a dangerous low register. And I agreed. I agreed to save my skin and get out of that silver room alive. He looked around the circle at his brothers, the firelight making their branded forearms look like open wounds. We ride for the Cooper Ranch before dawn anyway, Matteo declared. Those Sky assholes are long gone by now, and who expects a bastard to keep his word to a ghost in a metal suit? The men chuckled, a dry, rough sound that echoed the cruelty of the desert. Tomorrow, Matteo continued, the Cooper's blood will quench the dry desert sands, and then we ride back to the Chihuahua shithole we came from, as the 13 victorious bastards. One by one, the men rolled out their sleeping mats onto the warm sand. They decided on the watch rotation, the silence of the night returning to the ridge as they slept under the moonlit desert sky, blissfully unaware of the guardians watching them from the future. As one more lone spark rose up toward the full moonlit sky up from the campfire of 13 bastards, the Guardian Council observed the timeline progression, aware of the true intention of Matteo and the other 12 bastards.
Enjoy the journey. The views and narratives presented in this video and across this channel are works of fiction and are intended purely as an exploration of an alternate reality. Nothing shared here is presented as fact, nor is it meant to predict the future or dictate your personal beliefs. We encourage all viewers to use their own critical reasoning to form their opinions.